Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner, and in this edition, I want to talk about Milan-Sanremo and UAE team members. Tadej Pogačar's team just got more complicated for the Slovenian to be able to win his fourth monument here on tomorrow's Milan-Sanremo. Guys, Brandon McNulty is out sick. They have replaced the American rider who was showing good form over at Paris-Nice, and they replaced him with the Mexican rider Del Toro, Isaac Del Toro. Now, Isaac Del Toro, you guys might be thinking, because he just got fourth at Tirreno-Adriatico. He was third at Tour Down Under and won a stage. He has been remarkable throughout this season in terms of how good his legs are, but I think it's a crisis right now with Brandon McNulty going out sick and Del Toro coming in. And why do I think that? Well, every time I've watched a young Mexican rider race, he's always been at the back of the group starting the climbs. Here at Milan-Sanremo, you cannot start at the back. If I take you all the way back to the Tour Down Under, where he won one of the first earlier stages of Tour Down Under while he was wearing the race leader's jersey, he had problems starting at the front on those climbs. Now, if I take you in the Tirreno-Adriatico, which just finished last week here before Milan-Sanremo starts proper, Del Toro was starting the climbs and being a bit too further back on stages 5 and stages 6. Stages 5, you see him up near the front, but he's probably about 15, 16 guys back, and you see Ineos in front of him, you see Decathlon in front of him, you see, of course, Visma Lease bike, because they're drilling it for Jonas there on that first mountain stage of Tirreno-Adriatico, and he's too far back. So when Jonas Vingegaard puts in his attack, of course, Juan Ayuso's there to cover it right away. But Del Toro's not there. Now, he was remarkable on stage 5. Guys, he came back, passed riders left and right, got back up to the front, went over the climb, and was there by the time they're going down the descent to drill it on the front for Juan Ayuso to help protect the second on general classification. But that's too late if you're at Milan-Sanremo. It's good even at Tirreno-Adriatico that he made it there, but he's still too late. He's arrived too late for Juan Ayuso to be able to bring back a flying Visma Lease bike, Jonas Vingegaard. Now, nobody would have brought him back, right? And that's what we all think. Probably wouldn't have happened. But if he's there earlier, it does change the tactics, and it puts in the mindset that maybe he could have done something to help Ayuso and do damage control up the climb. Of course, they don't bring back Jonas, I know that, but it does change the effect of how much energy Ayuso has to ride and use at the front while he was chasing first, and maybe he drops Jai Hindley back there if Del Toro's there to begin with. We go to the next mountain stage, stage 6 of Tirreno-Adriatico. Guys, he's 30 guys back. Isaac Del Toro is 30 guys back starting the crucial climb with under 10 kilometers to go. Jai Hindley has Bora Hansgrohe on the front, and they're drilling it. The group is split in half, and Isaac Del Toro's in the second group, and Ayuso's not getting any help from his teammate there, as again, Jonas Vingegaard is doing big attacks, and he's going to solo. Of course, that's not going to change, but would it not change if Isaac Del Toro is bridging through two groups back there and coming back up to the front? That's massive, the kind of energy he put on that second mountain stage after riding the whole finishing climb there of the stage 5, and then coming back to a back-to-back stage and being able to follow and cruise his way all the way up to the main group that's behind Jonas Vingegaard, Juan Ayuso, and Jai Hindley there from Bora Hansgrohe. He was spectacular, his legs. I don't doubt that he's spectacular and that he might be the next big thing coming. It definitely is. But I don't know if you want to throw him in the Milan-Sanremo right now. If I'm UAE team member, it's when this kid starts at the back of the climbs. And when you're starting at the back of the stage races, guys, it is incredibly complicated to start at a one-day big-time classic that's a monument, even like Milan-Sanremo. When you're coming off the coast and you're starting to Sorpresa and the Poggio, it's going to be a big-time fight, and you cannot be 30 guys back. They're going to be going too fast. So I'm not certain if Isaac Del Toro can help Tadej Pogačar unless he can fix his positioning before the Sorpresa starts, and he has to fix it within hours now because Milan-Sanremo is starting within half a day's time. Now, let's get into some of the tactics with UAE team Emirates and how Tadej Pogačar could possibly win Milan-Sanremo. First off, if we look at the tactics that they rode last year in 2023, I liked them. I said they were good, maybe not flawless, but they were solid and good tactics for Tadej Pogačar. His attack going up over the Poggio, it was remarkable how he blew the group up and only had 3 riders on his wheel. Ghana was riding remarkably above anything we have seen, especially on a one-day race like this with Pogačar in front of him. And then, of course, Wout van Aert closed the gap, and Mathieu van der Poel sat on the Belgian rider's wheel as he closed the gap and then lit everyone up with 200 meters. Okay, where do I change the tactics if I'm UAE team members and I run almost identical tactics of what we saw last year in 2023? Like I said, I like them. So let's pretend they run the same tactics. Tim Wellens does a fabulous job going up to Poggio to go early into that climb, start splitting everything up. Tadej Pogačar's got to go all in with one super incredible dig, and he's got to be without any fast guys going over the top of the Poggio. Because it doesn't matter if he has only one Mathieu van der Poel on his wheel or one Mads Pedersen. That's one guy too fast for Tadej Pogačar, because they're going to sit on the wheel of Tadej Pogačar and then they're going to outsprint him at the finish. So that is not an option. If he can't get rid of everybody going up over the Poggio that's faster than him when they go over the top and start the descent, he has to sit up and actually add more fast guys to the mix. You're like, Chris, you're crazy. You don't add more numbers. You add more numbers if you're only 1, 2, and 3 person group, because everyone knows Tadej Pogačar is going to try to attack them once they come off the Poggio and they get into the last 2 kilometer stretch to the finish. They're going to be waiting for that attack. If they're 2 or 3 riders with Tadej Pogačar, they're going to be watching him like a hawk. If you remember right, in 2021, when Jasper Stuyvens won, that's how he won. There was too many fast guys. Caleb Ewan had incredible legs in 2021 going up to Poggio and displayed too much fine form. So everyone knew once they got down to the coast in the last 2 kilometer stretch that Caleb Ewan was the rider to watch, because he's fast with the purest sprinter speed in that group. So Stuyvens said, well, I can't win this sprint. I'm going to go. And there's too many fast guys without teammates to control Stuyvens. Whoever covered the move from Jasper Stuyvens from Trek was going to get second or last in that group for sure. And so that's why Stuyvens won in 2021. It was a tactical, beautiful move from Jasper Stuyvens of Trek. So Pogačar has to mimic that same move. You attack up to Poggio. If you can't go over the top solo or with someone that's not faster than Tadej Pogačar. There's not a whole lot of guys faster than Tadej Pogačar, but Mads is, and he might be in that front group. Mathieu van der Poel, like I said. Biniam Girmay, I don't know, but maybe he can be up there for the Eritrean if he has some kind of fantastic legs here with 280 kilometers into the race. Maybe he's there. If you have anyone fast with that kind of speed, Pogačar has to back off. He has to increase the number of the group. He wants 10 guys. He wants 15 guys there, but he doesn't want so many guys that the sprinters, the fast guys like Mathieu van der Poel, will have teammates. He doesn't want a Christophe Laporte there with 1 or 2 teammates. He doesn't want Olaf Koy there with Christophe Laporte, because that's too much speed for him to win in the sprint. And if you have extra teammates, they know to expect the attack from Tadej Pogačar. So if I run the identical plan as last year, they run it hard up to Sorpresa. Everything comes together on the coast with about 13 kilometers to go. They go up into the Poggio, and once they start the Poggio, he attacks, he blows it up, go over solo or back off and let the group get bigger. But do not go over with just Mathieu van der Poel on your wheel. If you do, and you're Tadej Pogačar, you have to sit on his wheel and let him pull the whole way down the descent, the whole way along the coast for the last 2 kilometers, and then maybe you got a chance of beating Mathieu van der Poel in the sprint, because the group behind is going to be close. They're going to be coming fast, and Mathieu van der Poel will not be able to back off the throttle. Either him or Mads Pedersen won't be able to back off the throttle because the group will be too close behind. So Mathieu van der Poel, if he's up there, Mads Pedersen, if he's up there, will have to pull full gas, and Tadej Pogačar just has to go, no, I will not pull up here with guys that are faster than me. You guys are going to have to lead me out. Okay, that's the #1 plan if you're running the same strategy that they did last year, and the only correction I make. Now, I'm going to bring in a different plan here that's completely out of the ordinary that you probably wouldn't expect. I brought these 2 jerseys up here for a reason, because I was riding for Mercury, and in 2000, I was leading the Redlands Bicycle Classic. We were on the Sunset Loop, which has a climb that'll summit at the top, drop down the descent, and all the way into town, but we did like 9 or 10 laps on the Sunset Loop. By the time my team had done the pooling throughout the whole final lap there at the Redlands Bicycle Classic, we were going the last time up the Sunset Loop, I had 2 teammates left. One was named Floyd Landis, the other was Scott Moniger. I was sitting third wheel, and I was starting to panic a little bit because I knew Scott Moniger and Floyd Landis had already ridden about 2 laps of the Sunset Loop on the front already. If they blew going up this climb and we got to the top, I was going to get attacked left and right from the top. Now imagine this is the Cipressa, so I'm going to give you a different kind of scenario here of how UAE can play it out. When they get onto the Cipressa, however the UAE team members arrive onto this climb, I go full force at the bottom of the climb. We use Diego Ulisses there at the bottom because he's fast. I know him. I used to be a teammate with him. He's incredibly explosive for a short amount of time up the climb. You use him first. And then if I'm Tadej Pogačar, I take over the front. I'm going hard up the front, and I'm starting to blow the field into pieces. But I'm going hard at the front with the hope that Mark Hirschi and Tim Wellens are on fantastic form, and they're sitting on my wheel. Much like the Sunset Loop, when I was panicking, I thought I'm going to lose Scott Moniger and I'm going to lose Floyd Landis going up this climb, and then I'm going to get attacked all the way going down the descent into the town of Redlands and possibly lose the Redlands Bicycle Classic. Instead, I rode by my 2 teammates. I said, get on my wheel, and I set the pace so hard going up the climb that we couldn't be attacked at all. Now, Tadej Pogačar on the Cipressa needs to set a faster pace than I did on the Sunset Loop because he wants to string the group out and he wants to bring it down to 10, 15 riders when we're going up over the Cipressa. And then he wants to drop down the descent. Then you back off the front like I did on the Sunset Loop. I backed off the front. Floyd Landis, he came through. Scott Moniger came through, and they chauffeured me all the way into the town of Redlands, and I won my first Redlands Bicycle Classic with Scott Moniger, Floyd Landis, and the Mercury team that year in 2000. Now, we get down to the bottom of the Cipressa. We start looking if Mark Hirschi's there, Tim Wellens is there. Hopefully Isaac Del Toro is there. He has legs for sure. He could possibly be there, but I don't think he's going to be there right when we turn on to the Cipressa, but maybe he comes back on when they reach the coast road with about 10-kilometer stretch there before we hit the Poggio again. If Isaac Del Toro is there, I'm having that kid ride 100%. Mark Hirschi's riding 100%, and Tim Wellens is riding 100% along the coast because most of the time, at Milano-Sanremo, what happens? The Cipressa goes hard. It splits the group up. They drop down the descent. They hit the coast ride. The group is a little bit too big, and they back off the throttle, and then it becomes much bigger, and it becomes more of a battle coming in to, of course, the last and final climb, the Poggio, with under 10 kilometers to go. If UAE team members are driving along the coast there, and it's a small group, no one will get the time to rest. No teammates like Mathieu van der Poel will be able to look over at his teammate and say, hey, hand me your bottle, hand me your gel, hand me some calories. They'll have no hope up there because Tadej Pogačar, hopefully by pulling going up the Cipressa, has eliminated all the other riders once he gets to the top. Remember, he only has to pull 3 kilometers, maybe 3.5 going up the Cipressa because hopefully Diego Ulisses does the bulk of the first part of the hit up the Cipressa of about 2K or 3K. And I believe Tadej Pogačar, and I'm sure you guys won't argue with me, that up the Cipressa, the Slovenian could easily ride 3 kilometers all out and then recover for 13 kilometers from the top of the Cipressa to the start of the Poggio while his teammates ride the front full gas. And the other guys are trying to scrape their way and claw their way back up to the front group that Tadej Pogačar hopefully has decimated down to a 10 or 20 rider group, and no sprinters have their teammates in there to help them out along the coast. And most importantly, when the Poggio starts proper, Tadej Pogačar has already worn out their legs going up the Cipressa. His teammates have already worn out the legs of the chasers coming down the descent and along the coast. And once the Poggio starts proper, Tadej Pogačar has to light everybody up on the Poggio. And then, like I said, same scenario as their first plan from last year. If he can't get a gap on Mathieu van der Poel, he has to set up and he has to wait for more riders to come and start making it a tactical battle the way Jasper Stuyvens won that beautiful Milano-Sanremo in 2021. Now guys, the race is tomorrow. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want some more content and something else to watch. I did do an interview with Pez Cycling's Richard a couple days ago, so you can go to the Pez Cycling website and find that interview, and there's about 30 minutes worth of Milano-Sanremo stuff there for you guys to digest. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the Butterfly Effect after Milano-Sanremo, the first of the 5 monuments for the 2024 season.